Okay, I'm going to get into it because we all have a finite resource, and that is time. And so I would love to ensure that we start on time, finish on time. If someone could please put into the chat hello so that I know that it's working. If you have any questions that you're wanting me to answer, there will be an opportunity at the end of this session for me to answer those questions. Pop them into the Q&A so that I don't miss it, because the chat can go a bit crazy sometimes. All right, I would love to know a few things about you. So I'd love to know if anyone here feels the juggle as an accountant, that clients are calling all the time, there's deadlines, compliance, and that often the money that we're receiving is a lot of hard work. I'd love to know if that's the case for you, because it's certainly what I have experienced. So if you'd like to put that into the chat, feel free to do so. I'd also love to know who you are. Where are you coming in from? Are you an accountant? Where are you based? Please let us know. I am currently coming at you from Torquay in Victoria, and I'd love to know that. Okay, so I'd love to know how many of you have clients that have cash flow issues. I know for me, we have spent so much time with clients where the biggest problem they have is the cash flow, and that look of shock when you tell them that there's taxes payable, or that they've made a profit but they don't have the money in the bank. And how many of you have felt like you've tried to help them but you feel like you can't get through? I know that's certainly been my experience. And the biggest thing that I have found is the clients not taking action due to not knowing what they can afford, or they have other stresses that are keeping them stuck. So I'd love to know if this is also your experience. I can see that there are a few of them that have this problem. The other thing that I'd like to know is what's brought you here today? Have you implemented Profit First in your business, or have you seen the difference in someone else that has implemented Profit First? What we're going to be spending our time today is really understanding Profit First and looking at that proactive approach, that future-paced approach. So I'd love to know who here would like to support your clients in a meaningful way. That was one of my biggest drivers when I decided to become a Profit First professional. Another feedback that we get all of the time from accountants is that they really want to decrease the failure rate of business and want to do it in a meaningful way and be that go-to person for their clients. So we're going to keep it simple. So Profit First is super simple for your clients to understand. And what I'm going to share is what Profit First is, how certification works, what Profit First as a service for an accountant looks like, some real life examples, and then how this can work for you. My name is Laura, and I run multiple businesses. One of them is an accounting firm. And I wanted to be making impact with my clients so that they could do more of the things that light them up, such as their personal interests and that sort of thing. So they needed to create a business that actually worked for them and not them for it. And so the business that I'm going to be sharing about today in terms of how we've utilized Profit First is Think Big Financial Group. So this is a holistic accounting firm, also does bookkeeping as well. I'm the co-director here, and we found ourselves in a lot of compliance. Getting stuck in those deadlines, the huge amounts of work, and then, not having as much time to help our clients. I am also the CEO of Profit First Professionals Australia and New Zealand, and I get to train the accountants, bookkeepers, and coaches, and love the impact that they're making. So let's get into what Profit First is. So we're going to talk about what it is and the main principles of Profit First. So we all know that the general accounting principle is sales minus expenses equals profit. What does this actually mean when it comes to the human behavior? What this does is it ignores the human behavior. We know that this is a formula that must be used on the profit and loss and is a way of dealing with things from an accounting perspective. But it means that we are saying, bring in as much money as possible, spend, and then hopefully you've got a profit afterwards. We really are leaving profit as an afterthought. And this is where the Profit First formula, whilst a small tweak, makes a huge difference. And that is, instead of saying sales minus expenses equals profit, we're saying sales minus profit equals expenses. And like, why does this actually matter? You think, well, yes, the bottom line is still the same. It is, but it is all about our behavior as human beings. And it is called the primacy effect. And whatever we see or do first is what we focus on. So if we're focusing on bringing in revenue, then ensuring that there is profit, then whatever is left over is what you can run your business on. Just that simple tweak in itself allows for the creative thinking and the wealth creation. And I'd like to dive into an example of what the primacy effect is so that you can truly understand what I'm talking about. So if I was to say to you these words, evil, hurt, neutral, kind, love, what sticks with you? What's the thing that sticks with you? Normally, it's the evil and the hurt. If we were to flip that around and say love, kind, neutral, hurt, evil, what your brain seems to retain is the love and kind, because these are the first things that you see or hear. That is the primacy effect in action. And as a human being, you can't change that. It is what it is. And so the profit first formula really leverages that and ensures that by making this change and saying sales minus profit, putting your profit first, allows you to know what expenses you have available to run your business. I'd also love to understand who here either checks their bank account on a regular basis or knows clients who do. For me, whilst I've got Xero and all of the reports that I look at, I still look at my bank accounts. It's still something that I do. It's one of my behaviors. So instead of trying to get your client to change that behavior that they do anyway, why don't you leverage it? And that is exactly what Profit First does. By setting up the multiple bank accounts, it allows your client or yourself to do the things that you're already doing without having to change. And what else does this do? By having the multiple bank accounts, I want to talk to you about another law, and that is Parkinson's law. Who here, when given a week to complete something, it takes you about a week to complete stuff? That is certainly what happens to me. Or if a client calls you and says, I've got this really urgent thing, I need it in 24 hours, as frustrating as it is, you manage to do it. This is Parkinson's law when it comes to time. The same applies to money. If you have one bank account and all of the money is sitting there, Parkinson's law comes into effect, and whatever money you have available is what you're likely to spend. And so by removing that or splitting that out into multiple bank accounts, it is ensuring that Parkinson's law happens in the right buckets or bank accounts. So the same applies to money as it does to time. And the other thing as well, which I'm a bit of a foodie, I'm not sure if you're a foodie, but when I go to the buffet, I overeat. I want to try everything. I want to load the plate up. I would like to, not miss out. The same applies with how people run their businesses through one bank account. You bring it all in, you take it all out, you overspend, you need more. And by having multiple bank accounts, or as we know when it comes to food, smaller plates, it allows you to not overeat, that you can know that on this small plate, you're going to be able to eat this particular thing, and then I can have dessert. So you can have everything without that overeating. The exact same is true. And it is, again, about human behavior. So one of the powerful things about Profit First is the actual order that everything is done. So as you would know by now, we have multiple bank accounts. But where the power comes in is to how we're going to allocate this, taking in the fact that we've dealt with Parkinson's law now. We have the primacy effect. So we need to allocate in an order. And that is whatever income comes into our main bank account, we then distribute or allocate a percentage to the profit account first, because we're signaling to our brain and to our focus that profit comes first. that, you know, even if this money is coming in, this is the first place that it needs to go. The second is then into the owner's pay, because the owner is generally working in their business and are not paying themselves properly. And so we're wanting to ensure that they're paying themselves. The third is then to tax. And then the last allocation is into the expenses account, so that it is super clear to the business owner what money they have available. The interesting thing to note is that profit and owner's pay are a reward signal. Profit, reward, owner's pay, reward. The tax is a protection measure. Yes, it needs to happen, but it creates so much pain for people, and they generally have ATO debt and all of those things that come with that mental load. And then the rest is serve what your business needs to actually do to ensure that it runs appropriately. And you'll notice that I've put percentages on the prior slide. This is based off different sizes of business. And so these percentages are just general percentages. And as a first professional, you learn how to tailor these to different businesses and different industries. But this is to give you an example of a business from $0 to $250,000, that these percentages are what they could be aiming for, and what it looks like in real life when it comes to their bank accounts. So you can see here, we've got Parkinson's law in effect. We have the primacy effect. We have all of these bank accounts and this behavior where people are looking at their bank accounts each day and making decisions and being able to know whether or not that shiny object is going to serve them, or if they're going to have enough money for that tax or GST bill. The other thing that Profit First does by having the different bank accounts is removing temptation. So for me personally, when I have a certain dollar figure sitting in my bank account, it gives me a sense of, oh, I can do this thing, or yeah, let me spend that. Knowing that allows me to remove the temptation and put these big bank accounts where there's the GST and the tax and profit accumulating in another bank where I don't see it. And so you're really working with your client and what they need. For some clients, they don't need to remove temptation because they need to see big amounts of money accumulating because it gives them a sense of calm. But the idea is that this is bespoke to the person and the business. And one of the things that it does is remove that temptation, especially when they're used to borrowing from themselves. The next part of Profit First that gets overlooked a lot of the time is the implementation rhythm. What do I mean by this? We have an account, an income account, where all of the money comes in and it accumulates. If we don't have an implementation rhythm and we're just moving money as it comes in or without thinking about it, you're not going to see a number of things. You're not going to see red flags like if they haven't been paid enough or that annual bill that they forgot about. It means that they don't get to see a problem before it's a serious problem. The idea of having an implementation rhythm is, one, they get to show up on a weekly, fortnightly, or monthly basis to their bank accounts and make these distributions and know exactly what's going on. What it also does, and what's not spoken about as often, is that having an implementation rhythm means that a person's brain can actually switch off and stop worrying about the money for a period of time. It allows you to really have that brain space to be creative, to work more and do the things that your clients love and reduce that mental load, whilst also allowing you to see, you know, when more money comes in and when there is less money, and the cycles that happen in the business, which without this implementation rhythm, you can't see very easily. And it's generally just a guess. And as I mentioned previously, Profit First is very flexible. It means that it is a framework that you can tailor to the person. And where I see one of the biggest problems happen is where people go, right, I'm going to have 20% profit. Like, who doesn't want that? But then they, you know, have the rest of their bank account set up and not even aware of the fact that, hey, that's not possible right now because you have debt. It's flexible because if a person gets overwhelmed by too many things, you can do it in a staged approach. It's flexible in terms of the industry and those industries that have materials and subs and cost of goods and things that need to be separated out. It is not a cookie cutter approach. It is very much being able to talk to your client and understand what their challenges are as well as what their goals are, and it fitting around that. And as I mentioned, you want to roll Profit First out. And so as a Profit First professional, there are stages to this rollout of Profit First, and starting slowly and, not going gung-ho initially is where these changes can be made. So they get an assessment where they know exactly where they stand. They know what their goals are because you've tailored that to what they need to do. And then there's steps and stages that they can take to roll this out. And whilst you can implement this in your own business from the book, it is not the same when you have someone guiding you throughout that rollout process. This part of Profit First, the profit allocation, is really what your clients want. Using the Profit First system, it leverages their behavior. And so having a profit account, a cash profit account, even if it's 1%, it allows them to do three things. One, a profit distribution, which I know you as an accountant can work with them to, give them the advice around how and when they should take their money out from a tax perspective, but it's there for them to do that. The other reason for having the profit account is to actually accumulate a buffer or a vault account or rainy day money, because as we're all seeing, we've had COVID, there's been other issues that have happened, and there's financial turmoil. Rainy days happen, difficulties happen. And so it allows them to start to accumulate some funds from the profit that they're putting aside so that if the worst was to happen, they can still pay for things. It may even just buy them a little bit of time so that there isn't that panic state that business owners can often get into when things happen. And the third, and probably my most favorite part of the profit account, is that you can use this to reduce debt. So debts get paid from the operating expenses account at the minimum amount or repayment that's required. But what the profit account can do is that every quarter, a percentage of that account can go straight onto a debt. It could be a snowball debt reduction strategy. There's many debt reduction strategies that you can do with your clients, and the profit account allows for that. And then the other thing is that Profit First, whilst it is simple in its concept, it's not always easy to do everything all at once and get it right from the beginning. And what is super important about this is that as a Profit First professional with your clients, you can help them to stick with it. You can help them to adjust their percentages and their plan based on what's happening, because things shift and change. This is where we see implementations falling over when people do it themselves because they don't know how to make these changes. So I've spoken about what Profit First is and that it does a lot for people, but let me actually tell you some of the results from people that have implemented Profit First with a Profit First professional. We have had clients go from below minimum wage to the desired wage that they were after within 6 to 12 months. That's pretty awesome. Others have increased their revenue by 50% because by having the Profit First assessment, it's highlighted that there was a pricing issue that they were unaware of. And so by tweaking their pricings, they've been able to increase their revenue. Others have had debt of $150,000 that was paid off in 18 months. Others, it's about being able to travel with their family each year. I had a client that their one purpose of having a business was freedom, and they wanted to be able to travel with their family. But in the years that they were running their business, they could never do it. And so that was the first goal. And through their Profit First implementation, within the 12 months, they were able to start traveling with their family. Now, years on, they're able to do it multiple times a year. Other things that have happened is business owners knowing the amount of money that they have available to them so that they can actually grow their team and support in a sustainable way. Others have eliminated $80,000 of ATO debt in 12 months that they thought it would never be possible. And for others, it's actually about working less rather than more, due to knowing that they actually needed less revenue because they're using their funds more appropriately by using the Profit First percentages. So it's really definitely a game-changing cash flow framework that works because we're working with the human behavior. So what I want to talk to you about is, what a Profit First offering could look like for an accountant, what you can charge for it, how it fits into your existing business module, how your existing clients could get excited about Profit First. also finding the time to get certified and roll it out. So how does Profit First as a service actually work for accountants? Let's start by talking about, and I know I mentioned this at the beginning, our finite resource, which is time. I know we have a limited resource. I know we all have limited time. And so instead of me talking to you about all of the new things that you can be doing, because I know myself when I've got a lot of work on or I'm trying to change into a different role or pivot in some way, that the time it takes can be really, really painful. And so there's actually numerous possibilities of how you can integrate Profit First as a service offering for things that you're already doing so that you can leverage this and help your clients further rather than having to do more. And so let me run you through some examples. Who here does company setups? This is something that we do a lot in our business. We're often having conversations and discussions with our clients because they're looking to change to different entities or are progressing or need different risks and tax implications and all of that. And so what we decided to do is add in an additional piece to company and entity setups. And that was to talk about the cash flow piece. Because generally when you're looking at entity setups for your client, there's a few reasons. One, they've grown. Two, there's more people in the business. Or three, they're starting from scratch. And so what we've done is offered an entity setup, which part of it includes the Profit First piece, giving that assessment to them, letting them know what to do and implementing that along with their entity setups. And this alone, we have about 80% of people that want an entity setup say yes to that. And it doesn't take a lot more work because you're already there having these discussions. It's that cash flow piece. And I know that a lot of people don't even think about talking about that cash flow because that comes next. But what if at this point in time, we could make that difference for them? Another example is looking at your existing clients. I know that when we were at our peak of compliance, we were struggling to be proactive and to help our clients. And so just thinking about your top 2% of your clients and adding in or offering this Profit First or cash flow piece and them knowing what sort of outcomes that they can get. We had, again, a very similar uptake. We could actually take on less clients and do more. And so what we did that as part of the onboarding. Anytime that, a client came to their annual anniversary of being a client with us, we would offer hey, you're entitled to having a one-on-one session with us so that we can really look at how your business is going and what you'd like to achieve. And then through that, we then offered the Profit First implementation. And it doesn't have to be a really long 12-month process. It can be a 3-month process. It can start as a project and then evolve from there. From implementing that ourselves, we saw that the uptake in our existing clients was really fantastic. The other thing is you're having tax meetings. It happens in your business. And so what you're generally doing is telling them their payable position or why this loss is there and them going, well, how do I fix it? And so at the tax meeting, we've been able to offer a solution, which is understanding where they're at and implementing Profit First and making those changes so that by the time the next year rolls around, they're not in that same position. And I'll tell you a story. So I had someone on Facebook send me a DM, and I've had a lot of them where they're like, oh, I really need some help. It's like the 3rd year in a row where I've got a $25,000 payable position in tax, and like my accountant just tells me to make sure I have the money. But they're like, I don't know what to do. Can you help? We have people that are in this position often and are looking for a solution. They don't want to be here again. And so this tax meeting is a great opportunity for you as an accountant. The other thing is that this is a real email that I received from a prospect that was looking for a Profit First professional and an accountant. And this is what they sent through. They sent through, for personal income tax, this is what I'm looking for. For the company tax, this is what I'm looking for. But can you see here that there's also provide cash flow forecasting, tax efficiency, the Profit First methodology? People are looking for this sort of stuff. So new clients are adding these expectations in when looking for new accountants. The other thing is let's say this is a new thing, and I said I wouldn't do that, but I am going to. We have created a Profit First 101 course that is available to Profit First professionals as an affiliate, where you get 30% of any course that gets sold through your affiliate. So if you're struggling with time at the beginning, this is another option for you to be able to offer a client a DIY Profit First implementation whilst you're getting yourself certified and whilst you are changing your business to be able to do more of what you love. I also want to share that businesses are actually looking for you. So these stats are real. We check our stats all the time, and 41% of leads. So we get people contacting us each day looking to work with a Profit First professional. 41% of them are specifically asking for help from an accountant. They want an accountant that actually understands and can help them with the Profit First methodology. And so I thought that might be something that you'd be interested to know. So you're in the right place if you're an accountant who has an established business with active clients, that you're looking for new ways to assist your clients with proven results, and that you actually have a genuine desire to help your clients become more profitable, pay themselves, stabilize cash flow, and get out of debt. And if you're interested in stepping out of compliance work, then this is definitely a way to do that. And as you can see, this is definitely a tried and tested, proven formula that works for clients. And the reason that it attracts clients is that they can start to see results from month one. All right, let's get into some specifics around the training. And again, just a reminder, if you have any questions, pop them into the Q&A and we will definitely get to them, but there's a lot more information that I would like to share with you. So what does it mean to be a certified PFP and why is it important? So there's the book, people can read the book, but what we find is that it's either overwhelming for them or it doesn't fit what they're trying to achieve. And so we have a certification program that is just the beginning. It teaches you all about Profit First and allows you to go out there and be sure that you can get the results. As I said, it is only the start of being a Profit First professional. And it is super important to us that if anyone's going to be helping small business with their cash flow, that they have the understanding and can get the outcomes, because otherwise it could be pretty disastrous for businesses. And so it allows you to gain the tools and confidence to easily roll out Profit First and then continue on and, mold your business to serve more and more people. So it's made up of 3 different parts. The first part is you actually need to implement Profit First in your own business. So we guide you through your own Profit First implementation that is done online via our training portal. And you can get started immediately. And the idea is that we don't want you to just know the theory. We want you to be able to authentically speak about the difference that it made for you or how it works. And what we've found for those PFPs that have implemented the Profit First into their own business is that they've seen debt reduction, they've received pricing support, and they feel very confident and comfortable to explain what Profit First does to their clients. The second part of the certification is that you need to implement it in with 2 beta clients. These are existing clients of yours that have cash flow problems, and you are given all of the tools and support to pilot how you're going to implement Profit First with people. You are shown exactly how it's done, from the Profit First assessment to the rollout plan, how to have those conversations with your client and get those changes and transformation for them. And once you've done that, you find that you have a really great idea as to how it integrates into your business offering, how you want to do it, whether it is as part of entity setups or as a standalone service or something like that. So it's very important that you know how this fits in your business and you're given all of the support to be able to do that. You can take resources and tools and make them your own, and you can then roll that out in a way that really serves you. And then to sort of finish off the certification part, there is an exam which has a 90% pass rate. And by the time that you get to it through the certification, we've had everyone pass with flying colors, so don't stress out. I know I don't love exams, but it ensures that we know that you have got this and that you can implement this in multiple businesses and that you can get those results for yourself and for them. The other thing once you're certified is that it's actually teachable and scalable. So you don't have to do it all. We have a number of Profit First professionals that have staff, and their staff are the ones that do the Profit First assessments, and they're the ones that talk to their clients and advise. And I'll explain later how you can get access to your team. The other thing that it does is it's a differentiation for you. As a Profit First professional, you are already different. And we kind of referred to ourselves as like the weirdos in terms of like, we are the pioneers, we are the people that do things differently. And so it automatically differentiates you. You don't have to change who you are, you're just approaching things differently. All right, so I said that I would share some real life examples of PFPs. And so I'd like you to meet Vanessa. So Vanessa is an accountant. She's also a mastery level PFP. She implements Profit First in a range of industries, so she doesn't just deal with one particular industry. And her biggest reason for wanting to become a PFP is that she wanted to ensure that she was different from other compliance accounting firms. So her Profit First consulting makes up about 40% of her revenue now, and it's growing rapidly. And she's actually on the path to it being 50% by the new financial year. She told me, and she said that I can share this with you, that she's extremely profitable as it costs her close to nothing to deliver this. One of her clients alone pays for her fees to be certified and have access to the mastery level of the membership, which is a higher investment. She feels that she's different to normal firms as they work with their clients on a weekly or monthly capacity. So it's in real time. They're not after the fact and where they don't know, where their clients don't know where they've gone wrong. They get to really work with them on an ongoing basis. The other thing that this has allowed her to do is talk to her clients in a way that's without jargon, so that they become confident in making great decisions for their businesses. The opportunities that have come her way is that she's co-authored 2 books. She's been a paid keynote on a retreat, and she's met some amazing people and had a number of opportunities. We also made sure that we did a survey and a poll globally for our Profit First professionals. And what we saw was this, that in the first year, they had an increase of 21%. By year 5, 330% in their revenue. And you can see that against non-Profit First professionals, there's a big difference there. And so we like to put data behind everything that we do. So I hope that that's a bit of interest to you. All right, so I would like to introduce you to Nadine. So Nadine's been a Profit First professional for over 5 years, and here's a snippet of her journey as to why she became a Profit First professional and why she's actually stuck around for so long.
I'm Nadine. I'm in Mundaring, up in the Perth Hills. Had my business now since 2003. I started it with a 2-year-old and a 6-month-old. I mostly do individuals, small businesses, tax compliance work. Part of the reason why I've got into Profit First 5 years ago now, compliance is boring for me. And I like the meatier stuff of helping people more than just running numbers and figures and guiding them. Yeah, seeing their businesses thrive.
When did you first come across it? What made you kind of go, oh, this is something that I'm interested in?
A colleague put me onto it. I'd been looking for something more. There had to be something out there rather than reinventing the wheel. Mm-hmm. And I've seen everything and all the struggles that businesses have seen from woe to go. And the common thing is money, cash flow. And so I knew there had to be something out there, just didn't know what. And Profit First was just so, once I'd been told about it, I got the Audible book, listened to that, and ordered the actual book. And yeah, here I am 5 years later. But yeah, so for me, it was getting rid of a bit of credit card debt in the past. You know, we're not all perfect.
No, we're not.
And yeah, having the confidence to increase prices or put those out there and reevaluate, the growth within the business and the profitability and paying myself. It's forever changing.
It is.
That's what I like about it. You can adjust it to suit what is happening for you at that time.
You've been a Profit First professional for 5 years. That's a decent commitment. Why?
Because it works. And it works. It's simple, basic stuff. And I like helping people. I'm a bit of a nurturer.
I love that.
But keeping people accountable. It's watching people go from like the struggles to the success within business and life. So it's not just watching them grow within their business, their lives actually go beyond that as well. And you can just watch the change in people over the period of time. So I don't know about you, but I don't like seeing how I change over the years. All right. So there's 2 different options, and that is that Profit First is definitely something that you can see being integrated in your business. And that it's time to move from the compliance, or you can keep doing the same thing, which neither is right or wrong, but really want you to consider that. The one thing that I do want to let you know, though, is that this is not for everyone. We want members that are the right fit. So we're looking for people that are proactive, that care about our mission of eradicating that entrepreneurial poverty and changing the success rates of business. We want you to be collaborative and willing to learn and share, because our community is all about that. And you do need to be open-minded, because you are doing things differently, as well as wanting to be profitable yourself and work in a way that serves you and your clients. And there is an interview process, which we'll get into in a little bit of time. So I'd actually really love to know, there's a poll that's going to be popping up on your screen shortly, as to whether you can actually see yourself as a Profit First professional. So I'll give that a second. Don't worry, no one's going to see your responses. Awesome. Okay, so there's quite a few of you. And you know what? It's just as important to us that if this isn't for you, then that's great. But if it is, then, stay with us and we'll continue to go through it. Okay, cool. So I can see that for those of you that answered, it's definitely something that you're wanting to do. So that's really fantastic. Thank you. All right, so let's move on to some more information for you. What do you need to know? So certification normally takes anywhere between 3 to 6 months. And we've seen people do it quicker than 3 months when they've already implemented it in their business, and because that obviously fast tracks it. But what I will say is taking the time and doing it properly, meaning that you're not just consuming the information, you are living it. It will take 3 to 6 months. Certification includes an exam, which has got a 90% pass rate, and that you do need to implement it in your own business and with 2 beta clients. So I'd love for you to actually meet some of the team, because a lot of the time we get asked, okay, great, I understand the certification, I understand Profit First, but how am I supported? So I'd love for you to meet our team.
Let's introduce you to the Profit First guides. Each of our guides is a powerhouse when it comes to Profit First. However, they all have their areas of expertise. So here is a little reminder so you can ask the best person regarding your query. Najma Khan. All technical aspects of Profit First, implementation, how and whys. She is your go-to. Aisha Daloon. She is the master of mindset, strategy, and accountability, just to name a few. If you are feeling a little overwhelmed, Aisha will help you achieve. Michelle Tolhurst, our resident marketing maven. Whether you need help with your website, socials, or your overall marketing strategy, Michelle is your girl.
So as you can see, these are just a few of the guides that you have on your team, and we have group calls once a week that are open offices and meet in action sessions, but you also get access to one-on-one calls. So if you're struggling to really understand the best way to talk about things in your words so that, you know, you get conversions, then Michelle would be the person to work with. Or if you're stuck on a technical aspect of a Profit First rollout, then you can book a one-on-one call with Nirshma, who's actually been a BFP for a very long time. I think it's nearly 6 years now, if not longer. And a lot of our Profit First professionals find that as things change or you're dealing with different things, you might need some coaching skills around how to have different conversations with people. And Aisha's definitely there. All right, so let's talk about the investment. So as you can see here, that it's a tiered pricing. So the reason being, we want to say thank you for continuing to be a member if, you know, as the years go on. And so as part of that, we recognize that the first few years, there's a lot more that you need to do. And then, you know, as you get this integrated into your business, you still are an active part of the community, you're still learning, but it may not be as much. And so these amounts are Australian or New Zealand, depending on where it is that you're located from. And you can either pay annually, which is that upfront amount of, for year one, 9,900, or you can pay via payment plan on a monthly basis. And we've got those underneath. So $9.90 per month in year one. As part of the membership as well, you get access to all of the marketing resources. We have templates around, you know, extracting information from your clients, all of the calculators and tools that you could need to implement Profit First. And they don't go away. So certification and membership are all in one. There's not an additional cost for the certification. All right, let's hear from Nathan now. Nathan is an accountant and he felt called to share his experience as a Profit First professional. So let's take a listen.
If you're a fellow accountant like myself or have clients who are in business, I suspect, like me, that you want to see your clients succeed. Hey guys, I'm Nathan Rigney. I'm the owner of NGR Accounting and I am a CPA. And most importantly, I'm a Profit First professional. I've been an accountant for over 20 years, and the one constant in that whole time has been SME poverty. Businesses with poor cash flow and constant battles. In fact, I bet you have one or two clients that come to mind. It was a podcast that I heard in 2019 where I was introduced to Profit First. The podcast talked about author Mike Michalowicz and his book, Profit First. It instantly resonated with me. 20 years of accounting, and never had I ever thought that the reason my clients were failing was because of their unconscious choices and their behavior, which resulted in poor financial outcomes. The Profit First methodology gave me the tools, the lessons, and the guidance to shift my understanding of how to have a profitable business, but also then pass on the same guidance to give my clients permanent profitability. If you're looking to give your clients positive change, be more than just an accountant that lodges tax returns, then I implore you to explore your options of becoming a Profit First professional, just like me. If that's what you want, let's go.
All right, so we've got two different things that you can consider, and that is if you have questions around how this could work for you, or you know what the best sort of step is for you, and you're not quite sure whether or not this is the best next step, then I really recommend that you book a Q&A call, and Christy will be popping the links into the chat as well if you don't have the easy access to scan that QR code. So there's no selling or anything like that. It is literally a 15-minute conversation around any questions that you have and how this can actually work in your business. If you feel like you're ready, then feel free to book an interview. There are a number of questions that you need to answer as part of that interview, because we want to ensure that, one, you are the right fit and that we're the right fit for you, that you can get that return on investment, and that it's, you know, the clear and best next step for you. And that's a 30-minute interview, and you can always ask questions there as well. All right, so why am I sharing this? So I'm sharing this because Profit First is really the perfect addition to an existing accounting business. It has changed for me personally, our business and how we work, as well as made our lives easier and our clients' lives easier. We are on a mission to obviously eradicate that entrepreneurial poverty. And because I've been doing this for so long and seen the change myself, I really want to share that with you. And so the certification and membership is only open until the end of November. We open twice a year, and it's closing at the end of November, and we will not be opening again until March 2024. And if now's not the time, then you're more than welcome to apply in 2024. All right, so I want to talk to you about some of the benefits and what it is that you actually get as being a Profit professional. The first is, and I explained this before, you do get one-on-one calls. You're not just left to your own devices. You can book in one-on-one calls as needed with our guides. We have an open office call once a week, and this is where the community comes together and they ask questions or share challenges or share wins and get that feedback from those that are doing it, and different perspectives. I also, and the guides will often come to the open office with an extension of learning around certain topics. Like last week, we were speaking about Profit First discovery calls and how you can really convey the message of what Profit First does for them and how you can help them. Other times it's been a deeper dive into Profit First for e-commerce, for example. It is very much what is needed at the time, and these happen once a week. We do have another opportunity for you to attend a meet and action session, and this is where you can bring your Profit First certification and just get things done. We also have guides available, so if you need a breakout room to go over anything, then you can absolutely do that. We also have a community and a Facebook group where you can jump in at any time, ask questions, share things, learn from others. You are also part of the global community, so you're welcome to join the US calls if that's something you feel called to do, and additional resources there as well. You have all of the resources that you could possibly need, from a profit assessment report tool to calculators and distributions to really identifying the gap for people or what they can realistically pay themselves based on their revenue. We've also got other tools as well that can help them know which lever they need to pull, and things like pricing and all of those stuff that seem to come up as part of the Profit First assessment and rollout. We also have workbooks, lead magnets, opt-ins that's done for you, and you can just modify it to suit you. We are aware that we have members that are from Australia and New Zealand, so our timings are good for everyone, and they do change. So there's lots and lots that is available to you. And generally it's just, if you're unsure, ask the question and someone can help you out. So I wanted to share one last person with you, and this is Scott, who is also an accountant.
The service I get from Profit First Professional Australia is outstanding. If I don't understand something or if I want advice, they're more than accommodating. The conferences are amazing and very professionally run. I highly recommend.
All right, so now it's to you. So we've had a number of people email us, and for those that will be catching the recording, questions. And so if you have any questions at all, feel free to pop them into the Q&A, and we'll be happy to answer them. And in the meantime, I'm going to start with the questions that I've already received. And so the first question that I've received is, when does certification start? And the way that it works is, once you've had your interview, as soon as you're approved and have signed up, you get instant access, which means that you can get started immediately on your certification. It is an online portal where there are short, sharp videos, as well as how to do things and some homework and quizzes that need to be done along the way, but you can get started immediately. One of the other questions that we received was, how many members are accountants? 23% of our membership at the moment are accountants. So as you can understand from what I shared prior, which was 41% of our leads are asking for accountants, our members who make up 23% of accountants are full of work and we need more accountants. So there's definitely an opportunity. Another question that we have here is how long has Profit First Professionals been in Australia and New Zealand? And the answer to that is 6 years. So since, well, going into our 6th year, since 2018, we have been around and everything that we do is centered around Australia and New Zealand businesses, but Profit First itself has been around for a lot longer than that. How long have other accountants been members is another question that we've received. And again, we love some stats, so bear with me. So 81% of our members that are accountants have been Profit First Professionals for more than 2 years. 63% have been Profit First Professional for more than 3 years, 50% for more than 4 years, and 31% for more than 5 years, which is pretty awesome considering we're going into our 6th year. And the only time we've had an accountant cancel their membership was because they never got certified and didn't find the time to do it. So I think that's pretty telling. Is it possible for my staff to get access to the training? Yes, it is. And so let me talk to you about what that is. So when you sign up as a Profit First Professional, normally you as the main person become certified for your business and you get the one-on-one support as well as all of the calls included in your membership. You can have up to 5 staff members get access to the online learning, and that is their own access for no additional cost. The only caveat there is they do not get the one-on-one calls. They cannot attend the calls or events. You are the one that will need to teach them and extend their learning based on what you learn, but they do get access to everything. There is the opportunity that if you're wanting other people to get certified and have more of that support, then any team member outside of yourself can get full access at 50% of the membership rate. Does Profit First count towards CPD is another question that we get. And the answer is yes, it absolutely does. We have spoken to CPA, IPA, and where they're all recognised. Any of the live calls that you attend and the training online counts towards your CPD. We've got another one here. About half of my clients are personal. Does Profit First work for them? So great question. Profit First works in personal and in business. So if you have majority ITRs and personal clients rather than business clients, then Profit First, what you learn as a Profit First professional can be done in personal. And what we find is if you don't have the personal side sorted, where they don't know exactly how much they need to earn or where their money is going there, it's going to impact the business. So it's definitely possible to only work on the personal side as well. I'm an accountant, but I don't do taxes. Can I still do Profit First? Absolutely. We actually have a number of Profit First professionals who are accountants by trade, chose to no longer offer tax or compliance work and just do Profit First coaching and implementation. So that is totally fine. And then the last question that I have here is, are there in-person events? And the answer to that is yes. We have an annual conference. We just had our ProfitCon in Perth this year. Next year it's in Victoria. And this is where members come together, learn from Mike himself and from other amazing speakers. And so that happens once a year. We do have a number of informal meetups that happen between PFPs as well. So the power of being in person is really great. All right. So again, if you have any questions that you don't feel comfortable asking here today, you're more than welcome to book a Q&A call where you can ask any question that you want. So the QR code is here. The link is in the comments. Book that in, ask as many questions as you want. If you want to have a bit of an idea as to what the learning portal looks like and the sort of resources that you get, you're more than welcome to do that via the Q&A call. And we also have the interview process. So remember, we're only open until the end of November this year. So if you think this is something that you want to do, book that interview and ask questions. We will obviously make sure that it's a good fit for all of us. and you can get on your way before 2024. The next intake will be in March 2024. So we open March to May and then September to November. And as always, if you have any questions whatsoever, or something comes up after this session, you are more than welcome to send us an email and we'll answer any of those questions. But I just wanted to thank you all for being here today. I hope you've learned a bit more about what Profit First is. And if you're ready to become a Profit First professional, we really look forward to having that conversation. Have a great day.